Movies, TV, sports, flicks. Movies, TV, sports, flicks. Movies, TV, sports, flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Movies, TV, sports, flicks. Movies, TV, sports, flicks. Movies, TV, sports, flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talk Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. I welcome the podcast where me, the Captain, talks about movies, TV, sports, flicks, anything you can see on a tuber screen. I'd like to get here and give my unique perspective, because after 46 years of being on planet Earth, I've developed unique perspective about these movies, TV, sports, and flicks, and I'd like to get here and tell you about it, because just maybe you care. And according to the stats, looks like you do care. I want to give a big shout out to Rwanda. Got some plays over in Rwanda this past week. Gracias, gratitude, todo Rwanda, and Rwanda. I just had some coffee straight out your country. Just this morning, I just got in the mail. The coffee is straight from Rwanda. And let me tell you this coffee from Rwanda is absolutely fantastic. It is some good tasting coffee. I can't wait to try some more. Fantastic. You guys make great coffee. So thanks for listening. I appreciate that. And just FYI, back day with school to be a radio DJ. And I never got a job. I think I never got a job because I just didn't drink enough coffee. And to be completely honest with you guys, I didn't even drink coffee back in the day. And maybe I didn't become a radio DJ because I didn't drink coffee. That's very possible. Coffee would have gave me the energy to pursue becoming a radio DJ. And I never did. But that allowed me to become the greatest podcaster in the Matrix. Some to debate, might be true, might not be true, but I said it on the internet. So it's gotta be true, right? Because everything on the internet is facts, not facts, true, false, fake news, propaganda, the Matrix, G.I. Joe, Transformers, My Little Pony, Barbie, Hot Wheels, Matchbox, puzzles, Barbie dream houses. I don't know. I didn't make the internet. Ask the people that made the internet. So when you're online, just be aware. Just watch out. Anyways, I can ramble here all day, but I won't. Let's get right into the podcast. But first, a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have coffee in the morning? You might. Maybe you do. I do. I have coffee every morning. Sometimes it's from Rwanda. Sometimes it's from America, but I always have coffee. And when I have coffee, I like to drink it out of a mug. And some of my mugs have little sayings on them. They have sayings, so I want to start my day powerful and strong. So if you want to start your morning off great, maybe what you want your mug to say in the morning is good morning. You pour your coffee in a cup, you look at your mug, and the mug says, good morning. Like, oh yeah, thank you, cup. I appreciate you telling me good morning. Yeah, okay, maybe you want to do that. But maybe you want to take that good morning to the next level. You say, Captain, how do I take it to the next level? Because it says good morning in another language. In fact, instead of saying good morning, it will say Bom Dia. Bom Dia? What are you talking about, Captain? What does that even mean? It means good morning in Portuguese. So if you want a mug that says Bom Dia, good morning in Portuguese, we got you covered. Start your morning off powerful with a good morning in another language. Be international. So I will put a link below to the Bom Dia Coffee Mug and start your morning off powerful, international. Yeah, do that because we jet setters, right? Is that how we roll? Yeah, we are. So check it out. I'll put the link below to the Bom Dia Mug over at the Existing Fictions as a store. Now let's get on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back again. I made it. I'm back. Are you amazed? Are you surprised? Like, really? It's like you still showed up? Like, Captain, you're at like 486. We thought you might have been done. Like, you just did too many of these things. You did too many. You did like 400. Like, bro, take a break. Stop. Relax. Take some days off. Go on vacation. Just stop. Just retire. Retire from podcasting, bro. You're doing too much. You're working too hard. We know you're too tired. You know, you just take a break, bro. I can't quit you. I gotta show up. I gotta keep showing up. This is for you. This is for you guys in Africa. This is for you guys in the United States. It's for you guys in the UK, Israel, Germany, Spain, Portugal. All you guys out there, I do this for you, right? Because we are about growing. We're about expanding our mind. This is what we do. And I can't stop. I can't quit because we all need to keep leveling up. And I'm going to do that with you guys. I can't stop now. We're leveling up. We're growing. We're expanding, right? This is what's happening. I know we are. I can feel it. I can see it. I look on the net. I see you guys. I see what's happening. We're leveling up new levels, new spaces, new literacies, new knowledge. It's happening. It's happening, bro. It's going. I can't stop now. We're going to keep going. So yeah, I'm here. And guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, for a second time in a row, I got out the house again. Like, bro, you got out the house? Yeah, I did. I got out the house. It's amazing. I went somewhere. It's so crazy. Like, can you believe it? I took a break from all this work to go somewhere. You know where I went? I went to where Superman and Batman were at. So Superman and Batman spent some time in the place I went to. Like, Captain, where did you go? You ever see the movie Batman and Superman? Or Batman vs. Superman? Back in 2016. Well, in Batman vs. Superman, they're in a museum, right? I went to that museum. The museum that were in the Batman and Superman, I went to that museum. I'm in the Michigan area. I live in the capital city, and that museum, that space where they filmed part of Batman and Superman, it's like right down the street. Well, it's not quite down the street, but it's in my area. So I went over there, checked it out, went up in there. I was like, Batman and Superman, we're here, bro. I'm in the same space. I am now part of the DC Extended Universe. The hierarchy of power in the DC Universe has changed because the Captain has entered the universe. Or maybe not. But seriously, I did go there. It was very cool. Lots of art, right? Now, as an artist, I do art. I talk, I speak, I write lyrics, I make music, and I do art. But going to the Batman vs. Superman Museum, which is the Eli Bro Museum of Art, Michigan State, was like being inside of art. You walk in the door, you're like inside of art, right? You might hear art through speakers. You might see art visually. But going to this museum, like walking inside and seeing all the art, like you were inside of art. I was in art. And as an artist, I appreciated it. I was in the art, absorbing art, looking at art, hearing art, seeing art. It was just a day of art. It was so awesome. And also Batman and Superman were there as well. So now I am a superhero. So I did that. Anyway, it's enough for that. I got out the house, went to see some art, went where Batman and Superman was at. And now let me talk what I'm talking about this week. And this week, I'm going to talk about my favorite franchise in the entire universe. And if you've been listening to these podcasts, you know what that is. But if you haven't, I'm going to tell you, my favorite franchise in the entire universe is the one and only Star Trek. But you probably already knew that. Anyways, yes, that's my favorite franchise. And this week, we saw the finale of Lower Decks. And also, the continuation of Star Trek Prodigy. 2 Treks, 1 day. 2 cartoons, 1 day. A double dose of Trek. A double dose of living long and prospering. A double dose of beat me up, Scotty. Yeah, twice. It was a great day. Fantastic. Double Star Trek. I just got done watching it. Well, first of all, before I get into Lower Decks of Prodigy, let me say this. There will be spoilers. Most likely there'll be spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, do not listen any further. And additionally, I do own some shares in the parent company of Star Trek. I want to be clear and transparent to let you know that I do own some shares, just to let you know so you're aware of this. So anyways, now that I told you that, let me get into the good stuff. So in this week's Star Trek Lower Decks, The Stars of Night, a very funny episode. Very funny. And it's, and there's always Easter eggs as usual. And just very funny Easter eggs, great story and all that. But I want to get into something specific and go deep like I normally do. So in this episode, one of the themes, again, as we've seen a million times, is man versus technology. Man versus technology. Is technology going to take man's spot? Will man be obsolete? This is what was presented to us in Star Trek. I just saw a news report today about driverless cars, right? Some of the companies, these car companies, are canceling the driverless cars. I don't know why they're doing it, but they're choosing not to go forward with it for a little bit. They're just pausing or something, right? So that's a win for man. In the real life, man has won. The driverless cars are pausing, they're slowing down, and man is winning. Let the man take the steering wheel. We don't need a driverless car, do we? Do we or do we not? I don't know. But as a human being, I like to take that wheel and turn it. So in Star Trek Lower Decks, the Cerritos was about to get replaced. by a robot, by AI, by technology. So I just talked about driverless cars. This was a driverless ship. It's the same thing. It's crazy how that works out. Because this episode was about a driverless ship taking the spot of the Cerritos. The whole class, the whole California class ships. The driverless ship. I think it's a Texas class, right? They're going to take their spot. And in the real world, we're talking about driverless cars taking the spot of human beings. It's so relevant. Star Trek is always relevant all the time. And in the show, they had a race. They had a battle. Is the human superior to the robot, to the AI, to automated ship? Or is the automated ship superior to the robot, to the human being? They had to figure that out. And in the end, after the race, they figured it out. They discovered that the machine couldn't beat man. The machine couldn't beat man. Even in Star Trek, way in the future, the machine couldn't beat man. Right? They just can't. There's certain things a machine can't do that a human can do. And fast forward down the timeline, many, many years in the future, I don't think the machine is going to be able to overtake the man. This theme keeps coming up over and over again over the last 20, 25, 30, 40 years in countless TV shows, countless movies. Man versus machine. Robot, AI, or whatever versus man. Yeah. They're never winning, bro. They're not winning. We will win. They're not taking our jobs, bro. They're not. We can't allow it. We can't allow those robots to take our jobs. They were trying to take the Cerritos job. They were trying to take my crew, the Lower Decks crew. They were trying to take that job. Those robots were trying to take their jobs. Our favorite crew of the Cerritos, the Lower Deck guys, trying to take their job. Bro, they need work. Don't let these robots take their job. So in the episode, humans won, of course, because we're human. And we're the best. So anyways, that was going down. The main thing I got out of it was it's humans versus machines, and the humans will win. That's what I got out of that episode. And there was a lot of other cool things, Easter eggs, and great episode. A lot of other story arcs tied up. So much more going on. But I can't get into all that. You know me, I'd like to just take one aspect and go deep into it. And we still got to go to Prodigy. So Lower Decks is cool as a finale, and we're on pause in Lower Decks to the next season, which I don't know when it's coming out, but it'll be out whenever, and can't wait for that. Now, let's get into Star Trek Prodigy. Not only was Star Trek Lower Decks on, it was awesome, but so was Star Trek Prodigy. We revisit the Prodigy crew and find them about to reconnect with Starfleet. They're finally about to reconnect with Starfleet after the first 10 episodes, trying to figure out what we're going to do. Says we're going to go talk to Starfleet now. We're going to go give them their ship back. Because they have the ship. They're really not supposed to have the ship. But they got the ship. They kind of borrowed the ship. And now they want to give the ship back. And they might have to get the uniforms back too, because they're wearing the uniforms too. They're not really part of Starfleet. If you haven't seen Prodigy, basically a bunch of kids are flying around in a Starfleet vessel. And they're not even really in Starfleet. But because of the circumstance of the first 10 episodes, they somehow got a hold of it, are in it. And they kind of had to escape somewhere where the environment was not the greatest, and they left. And after they left, they just started doing good deeds. They started being like Starfleet. They weren't part of Starfleet, but they were embodying Starfleet values, doing Starfleet stuff, led by a Captain Janeway hologram. If you've never seen Star Trek, Google Captain Janeway, because she's kind of very important in the Star Trek universe. So that's what they've been doing. And they finally met up with Starfleet. And when they met up with Starfleet, kind of went bad. So with Star Trek Prodigy, very cool, very entertaining. I love the story. Visuals are good. We saw Janeway, the real Janeway. We saw Chakotay, hologram Chakotay. But still cool to see these characters. And if you know Star Trek, you know these characters. But what I want to dive into with this show is that when I watch this show, it takes me back to being like a young kid. You know, I was laying on the couch. I had a nice warm blanket on. I had some comfortable clothes. I was eating some chips. And just, it reminded me of being a younger person back in the day watching cartoons, you know, with no responsibilities, you know, no major adult problems, no trauma, or not as much trauma. As you get older, more trauma accumulates, unfortunately, a lot of times, most of the time. And so just being young and carefree. And when I sit there and watch Prodigy, because because of how the show is because it is kind of geared towards young people. It does put me back in that like kind of young person mind state. And I'll say this, I do love it. Because dealing with the world, being an adult, a grown human being, and having grown human being things to deal with, a lot of times can be a little bit stressful. You know, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about if you're older. Right? A lot of stress, the real world stresses, the adult stresses. Right? Sometimes we just need a break. And sometimes we need to channel that younger version of ourselves. And this particular show helps me do that. So for a half hour, I turn into the younger version of myself and enjoy a nice little fun, entertaining cartoon. And I'll tell you what, it did make me laugh too. A little bit of silly laugh too. A little bit of silly laughing, fun, warm, eating chips, forgetting about my problems, forgetting about the drama, forgetting about bills, forgetting about all these things, and just taking a break and becoming a young person again. I'm talking about a very young person, the young version of me that would watch cartoons, right? And Star Trek never really had done that before. This is new territory for Star Trek because generally Star Trek is serious a lot of the times. They can have fun, but not a silly young fun. And this show does that. And as a 46-year-old dude, it's exactly what I need. I like being 46. It's great. 46-year-old is great. There's a lot of cool things about being a 46-year-old dude. A lot. But also, there's certain aspects of being 46 that you're not maybe as connected to as when you were younger. And then going into the show, watching this nice cartoon, half-hour show, just transform me back to being that young mind, that young, carefree dude. And it's beautiful. And I want to thank Star Trek for going there, for creating this wonderful, creative TV show cartoon that takes me and transports me to being the younger version. Also, while going there, also kind of leveling up the mind a little bit, because even though it's younger and it's more fun, more joking kind of going on, they still do tackle some kind of, thought-provoking ideas, but in a different package, different way of doing it. So this show is phenomenal as well. Can't wait to see where the rest of the season goes. Should be very interesting. So Star Trek is back again. They just keep bringing out new shows constantly. I love it. Like, it's been Star Trek all year for the most part. I think I've done a podcast every Sunday about Star Trek going back to I think all year, honestly. I have to check. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I might be wrong, but I think I have it most of the year. I love it. They just keep putting out new shows. It's great. So anyways, that's all I want to talk about. Double dose of Star Trek, cartoons, being young, fun, having fun. Yeah, it's beautiful. So thanks for joining me. Guys, it's gratitude. And until next time, we'll see. For me, I focus on what I want to do. I know what I need to do to be a champion, so I'm working on it. Usain Bolt. Until next time, it's Captain Beats.
The Captain Talks Flicks.